right? So this video is the physical appearance of Israel, and we're going to discuss how did the children of Israel look physically. And once again, I'm going to state to you how important the physical appearance of the children of Israel is, because we are rebuke, we're putting down, we're crushing the lie that the children of Israel was a European people. It's 2006. I just witnessed a new Ten Commandments movie. The first one with Charlton Heston, and we're going to talk about that. That one was created in the 1950s. But now we have a new one that was just recently created in 2006, and it still has the same lies. The children of Israel was a white European people. So we got to deal with this, and we're going to deal with it from the book. That's the foundation, the scriptures, but we're also going to look at the archaeological records. Yeah, we got the statues, we got the images to show you what's going on here. So this is how it is, the physical appearance of Israel, and this has a subtitle, The Israelites and the Sons of Ham. So we're going to get this started off in Genesis chapter 10 verse 6. Genesis chapter 10 verse 6. We're going to get this rolling. Now, what we got to do first, because we have the subtitle, The Israelites and the Sons of Ham, I have to briefly explain to you who the sons of Ham are, so you can have an understanding how they relate to the Israelites, and you can have a better understanding why this segment is called The Israelites and the Sons of Ham. Now, according to Genesis chapter 10, this is called the Table of Nations. Now, I'm pretty sure we all have heard of Noah and Noah's Ark. Now, Noah was a man that lived in the early days of the history of mankind. Now, mankind had got wicked on the earth, and so the Most High had to destroy the world, and he done it with a flood. Now, this flood covered the entire world, and from this flood, only 8 was saved. A man named Noah, his wife, and Noah's 3 sons, and his 3 sons' wives. And from these 3 sons of Noah, the entire world was repopulated. So every nation that is descended upon the earth today is descended from one of the 3 sons of Noah. Noah's 3 sons, they were called Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem, Ham, Japheth. Now right here we're going to deal with the sons of Ham. Now I'm going to briefly explain to you the Israelites and who they are descended from with these 3 sons of Noah, because it's critical, and that's why this is called the Israelites and the sons of Ham. But first, let us explain who Ham is and who his sons are. Who was Ham and who was the sons of Ham? Once again, we go back, as I stated, we're going to start in the Table of Nations, Genesis chapter 6. Genesis, or in Hebrew, Bereshit, chapter 10 verse 6. Genesis 10:6 says, and the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan. Ham had 4 sons. Once again, let's break it down. Cush, Mizraim, Put and Canaan. Cush, who were Cush? Cush were known as the Cushites, the Nubians, or the Ethiopians. You got that? Ham's first son, Cush, they were the Cushites. They also went by Nubians, and they also went by the title Ethiopians. Now, they went by these titles. It all depends on what people or what nation viewed them and gave them these names. The Cushite, they were called Cushite mainly by the Hebrews and other surrounding nations. The name Nubia came later, and Ethiopia came a little bit later after that, because Ethiopian was the name that the Greeks gave these people. Now, the Cushites lived south of Egypt, and on average, since they were closer to the equator, their skin on average was a little darker than the Egyptians. So when the Greeks saw these people who lived south of Egypt, this great nation that lived south of Egypt, the Greeks called them Aethiops. Aethiops. Now, Aethiops means burnt or black face, because as I explained, they were a little darker in complexion than the Egyptians, because they were closer to the equator than the Egyptians were. And sorry, brothers and sisters, for just fumbling right there. It's just so much I want to say. This is one of my passions right here, this subject, and I'm sorry. It was just so many words that I want to get out there. I tried to, hold them back, so I kind of stumbled on a few things. But the next son is called Misraim. Misraim are the Egyptians. Misraim are the Egyptians, Pathros, or Kemet, or KMT. This is the name that the Egyptians themselves went by. Kemet is the name that the Egyptians called themselves. They called themselves Kemet. Kemet means the land of black. The Egyptians was the name that the Greeks gave them. And Pathros just mean upper and lower Egypt, and Misraim is what the Hebrews call them. So do you see it? The Ethiopians and the Egyptians are the first two born sons of Ham. And then we have his third born. He's called Put. Put are the ancient Somalians. Now we know this to be a fact because the ancient Egyptians wrote about the ancient Putites, because the ancient Egyptians under the Egyptian queen Hatshepsut, they conquered Somalia, and they wrote about that the ancient Putites were what we call today the ancient Somalians. Now Somalia is a nation that is close to Ethiopia. It's in East Africa. It's close to what's called the Horn of Africa. So do you see, all these nations are on the continent of Africa. They are what we call Africans. That's who the sons of Ham are. The Cushites, the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Somalians, and the Canaanites. The Canaanites are the original inhabitants of the land of Israel. So the sons of Ham are the families of Africa. Now, many of you may not understand this, but what I'm going to show you is that the children of Israel look physically like the black Africans, the black sons of Ham. And I don't like to use that term African, and I'm going to explain that in one of these DVDs, probably this one or maybe the one about the curses, but I will explain to you why I don't like to use the term Africa or African. But I'm just going to use it right now in the beginning of this because we're laying foundation, and I'm just going to explain this and use that term for your clarification. But the sons of Ham are the black families of Africa. Now I want to explain this. All Noah and his entire family, they were all black-skinned. Now just because you are black-skinned, that doesn't mean that you are African or have anything to do with Africa. See, that is a creation of the European racist Gentile scientists. They created this whole African thing for the primary purpose of deceiving. They encompass all these people that lived on that continent and just call them Africa. And so we have taken that and run with it today. And, we say everything that's black or everything that's black-skinned is African. No, that's not true. See, when we look into the Bible, everything is done based on nations. The Most High never came against people based on their skin color. No, everything is based on nations. When you read Genesis chapter 11, it tells you how man was separated. And we see that Genesis chapter 10 is telling us how man was put into his different nations. So we're dealing with nations here. And these nations right here are the sons of Ham. They happen to be the black African families of the continent of Africa. The Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Somalians, and the Canaanites. So if you read Genesis chapter 10 verses 6 through 20, it lists all of Ham's descendants, who descended from who, and from this people, from that people. But everybody today can be traced back to the three sons of Noah. So this is who the sons of Ham are. They are the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Somalians, and the Canaanites. And all these people were black people. They are to this day. Ethiopians are still black. The real Egyptians, as you're going to see in this presentation, that are in the land of Egypt today, they're in the background. They're not the ones that you see on TV. They are the true Egyptians are still in Egypt. The Somalians are still black, and the Canaanites, the original Canaanites. Now that's another story. The original Canaanites pretty much have been chased out of that land, but you better believe that there are still some Canaanites in the land of Israel today. They're in the background. See, you have to understand that the European, the Gentile he is aimed for deception, and that's what he does. See, he controls the media. He controls what's on TV and what's not on TV. So when you look and you see crisis in the Mideast, and they show all these Arabs, they show the white Arabs that are more than likely Caucasian, the Caucasian Arabs, but they don't show the true Arabs, the black ones, or they don't show the true Egyptians, the black ones. They always keep them in the background. You know, they put them in the back alley, like they don't show the true Israelites, the black ones. So, also, let me explain briefly, because I've been throwing this title out here called Gentile. Gentile just refers to the sons of Noah's son Japheth, and these are the white Europeans. According to Genesis chapter 10 verses 2 through 5, it tells you that the sons of Japheth are known as the Gentiles. Gentile just means nation, and the Israelites gave them this name in the Israelites gave those white Europeans the name, or the title Gentile, because these Gentiles lived north of the children of Israel, and the children of Israel was not familiar with who they were. So they knew nations of people lived in those lands up to the north, but they just was not familiar with what nation they were. They were not familiar with, you know, this is a Greek, this is a Roman, this is Magog, this is Gomer. They were not familiar with that until a later period, until after, like, Alexander the Great came and conquered, you know, the entire known world, and so that's when they became more familiar with the people that was up in Europe. So that title Gentile was something that the Hebrews just called them. They just called them the Gentiles, which just means the nations, because they were not familiar with their individual nations, so they just grouped them together and called them the nations. Just like the Gentiles do to us today and call us the blacks. You know, they group all black-skinned people together and just call us the blacks. So